Downtown Development Authority Board. It is Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. It is 6:36 p.m. Could we have a roll call and determination of quorum, please?
Chairperson Burgess,
Here.
Vice Chair Caruso,
Here.
Secretary Laurent,
Here.
Treasurer Shell,
Here.
Board Member Campbell,
Here.
Board Member Coe,
Here.
Board Member Medina,
Here.
President Rudd.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 3, approval of minutes. A, approval of DDA regular meeting minutes of November 18th, 2025.
Motion to approve DDA Board regular meeting minutes of November 18th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, approval of agenda.
Motion to approve agenda.
Madam Chair, if I could, at your agenda place tonight, there was a revised agenda memo on the seasonal snow ice maintenance under regular business. We were able to secure a more favorable arrangement, and so this was at your place. So when you get to that item, there's no need to amend the agenda, but just recognize that there is some revised and updated language. What is also at your place is the National Main Street Program released the Main Street Now registration opening. We're asking for this to get approved simply so that we can be registered for the conference in April. The reason for that is, as you may or may not know, the spots for probably the most learning aspect of, which I attached those that you can take a look at or go to the website. We got to get registered for those like right away or they'll be all filled up. So we decided to add it on tonight. So if you could add the Main Street Now Conference 2026 under the snow, I don't have the agenda right in front of me, then we could,
So 8C?
8C, perfect.
Do you need a motion for that?
Motion to approve agenda as amended.
Support.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 5, call to the public. The DDA welcomes comments related to the work and spirit of the DDA on non-agenda items. Each person wishing to address the DDA board shall be afforded an opportunity to do so. When recognized, please give your name, address, and direct your comments to the chair. Comments on the agenda items may be allowed upon the calling of the item. Comments are limited to 3 minutes or is allowed by the board chair.
George Dandelides, 226 Bellevue. I just wanted to take a minute to recognize and thank the local businesses that contributed and supported to the parade a couple of weeks ago. It was a great activity, and I think it's a great example of some of the businesses giving back to the community. So I appreciate that, and I just want to say thank you.
Please.
Good evening. My name's Adam Piazza. I live at 181 Evergreen Trail. I've been reading through the executive director's report from November 18th, and I have some questions I think the public deserves answers to. Right now, the DDA is spending $40,000 to $58,000 a year maintaining parking lots you don't even own, rent to private landowners, snow removal, landscaping, all of it. The executive director himself wrote that this is not a sustainable model and requires participation of the village, which is not being offered nor suggested. I have to ask, why are we maintaining someone else's property? These landowners are collecting rent, but we're cutting their grass and plowing their snow. That's backwards, and any other landlord would maintain their own property. And if we're going to do it for them, we should be getting paid, not paying them for the privilege. The original arrangement was supposed to be different. The DDA pays for the lease, as the village handles maintenance. That's in the report, but that's not happening. And I have to understand the village has its own budget struggles. But we already have the public works. We've got the trucks, the plows, the people. Maintaining a couple parking lots isn't a new expense, it's coordination. On top of this, the DDA's primary revenue source is roughly $1 million a year in TIF capture. Approximately $420,000 goes to the lumberyard bond payments, another $200,000 of the village service agreements, and among roughly $400,000 other operational expenses, road infrastructure gets $0. So if the DDA is already struggling to maintain a couple of leased lots, what happens when the lumberyard is finished? That's the bigger property. Who pays for that? Here's the bottom line. We need to start generating revenue. The lumberyard is going to have parking. People already want to come downtown. That's why we need more parking in the first place. Charge for it. Maybe residents get free parking, maybe certain hours are free, work out the details, but the idea that we're going to keep paying for everything and not generating nothing back, that's not sustainable. Either renegotiate this lease so landlords maintain their own property, or cut them loose. Get the village to use public works for what we keep, and start treating the lumberyard parking as a revenue source, not another expense. This community has no problem writing blank checks. We just can't seem to figure out how to deposit one. I'm asking when that changes, because giving without receiving isn't generosity, it's bad math, it's bad stewardship, and at some point, we owe it to this community to turn that around. Thanks.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 6, consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are approved by one vote. A, financial reports. B, preliminary committee meeting dates. C, electrical extras, DPW contract. D, grant disbursement, Main Street, Oakland County. E, annual information report.
Madam Chair, I have a question on item C, so if we could either pull it down and discuss or discuss before we vote.
Let's go ahead and discuss.
Okay. I just had a question. I know you've, Mr. Gibb, you have mentioned a number of times some of the electrical upgrades, so I'm just wondering what this was for, what the limitations were for a DPW watt. You know, there's the invoice there, but we'd just love a little bit more information about what this was.
So the bulk of it was to bring in electrical systems because I think Wes is here, the lead that was underground in front of what's now Rise Lounge was a more substantial repair than our base DPW staff, which I totally understand, could have. There was some other parts-related invoicing.
Yeah.
But the big one is when we have these larger electrical issues within the streetscaping, that's what that accounted for.
Okay, so beyond the scope of expertise, because our DPW, our departments, they aren't electricians. They're great at a lot of things,
Yeah,
but they are not.
We were going to send Darwin out, but he didn't want to. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not an electrician either.
And some of that was the fuses and
Yeah, yeah.
LED bulbs and.
I just wondered what that fix was, you know, what it was that, I mean, I know our DPW does a lot of work, but I wonder what the extent of that was.
Yeah, the 1,500.
And Madam Chair, if I could just add for the record, part of the reason I put this on, this should be something to just run through, is for all of our sakes, that the streetscape is in need of a larger attention factor. So I just wanted to start tracking of these are the types of expenses that are layering in as things are getting old. And so it was more of a tracking mechanism than it was anything else. So we kept tracking it.
So I got a question then. So LED light bulbs, our guys can't change light bulbs? Is that, how many village people does it take to change light bulbs? It says here, LED light bulbs for decorative lights. What is that for?
So we get large LED bulbs that go inside the giant globes on top of the decorative lights, and they're expensive. And so when we're
that's
out,
just the cost of the bulb.
That's the cost of the
That's
bulbs.
not hiring somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. So I'm
Cost of
thinking
the
you're paying
bulbs.
somebody to put light bulbs in.
yeah, well, we have a contract with the village for DPW related services that includes basic work, like making sure the GFI circuits are working, that kind of thing. And so Chris and the team will replace the light bulbs and the globes because they've got a system to do it
Right.
that I really don't want to. So,
Perfect.
but that's in front of you is the cost of the bulbs.
Yeah, I got you.
And some of those are fuses too.
See,
Keep
yeah. So they aren't like, this is not labor costs, these are just actual product costs,
Parts.
parts.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
Motion to approve consent agenda?
Okay, good support. I'd like to have a roll call on this just because we've got money involved here and things that we weren't originally planning, so thank you.
Treasurer Shell,
Yes.
President Rutt,
Yes.
Board Member Medina,
Yes.
Secretary Laurent,
Yes,
Board Member Coe,
Yes.
Vice Chair Caruso,
Yes.
Board Member Campbell,
Yes.
Chairperson Burgess.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Moving on to item number 7, financial matters. A, bill approval, page 62. We need a roll call for this as well, please.
Motion to approve disbursements in the amount of $263,611.51 for November 2025.
support.
right. Chairperson Burgess,
Yes.
Board Member Campbell,
Yes.
Vice Chair Caruso,
Yes.
Board Member Coe,
Yes.
Secretary Laurent,
Yes.
Board Member Medina,
Yes.
President Rett,
Yes.
and Treasurer Shell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 8, new and old business. Remember now, we've added C to this as well. So number A, adopt the 2026 Downtown Development Authority Board meeting schedule, page 69.
Motion to adopt the meeting schedule establishing the 2026 meeting dates for the DDA Board for the Village of Lake Orion and to authorize the clerk to post the schedule pursuant to the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 8, seasonal snow and ice maintenance. Roll call again, please. Page 71.
Motion to approve the quote from Mitten State LLC for sidewalk and seasonal maintenance in the amount of $6,000, not to exceed that amount without further action of the board, with funds from general activities 248-260-801-000 contractual services downtown.
Second.
Madam Chair, I have a question on that.
Please.
Are these sidewalks in front of the businesses as well? Like this is the entire downtown is what, so just adjacent to like the parking lots and things like that?
Yeah,
Public
so,
land? Okay.
so through the chair, until such time as we can get our arms around the 5 parking areas that we do have agreements for, we'll continue to maintain those. And so this is the sidewalks around that, but this also includes, Ms. Rutt, the Flint Street Alley, which is used pretty heavy pedestrian route from that parking through. It's also something that we have a contractual obligation for. This contract also includes the sidewalk and some of the parking just limited in front of the lumberyard. That sidewalk gets like a puddle and ice before you know it. So it includes that area as well. They've also been assigned the task of doing spot relief in the streetscaped intersections. So at Broadway Flint, at Front Broadway, at Flint and Anderson in front of the knitting shop, and then on the other side in front of Rise. I still call it Anita's, sorry, in front of Rise. So they do have spot maintenance of that. This was not bid specifically. There was multiple other prices sought. This is the only crew short of 20 grand that would come in and do this. And it's a young local company. And so it's, I recommend, even though that's right, that's in part why it's on your agenda like it is.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify, since there wasn't a map, which sidewalks we were talking about.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I want to clarify a few things that were on this background brief, just so that there's a clear understanding both for the board and for the public. The background brief states that Village DPW was unwilling to assume the plow responsibility for the leased and developed public parking areas and also the sidewalks adjacent to the parking areas. I want to remind the board that DPW did submit a proposal and a price quote to do this work. And the price quote for that work, which also included the Slater Street parking lot, which my understanding is this proposal does not include. The village DPW's price was $7,290. The contractor that's proposing to do the work without the Slater parking lot is, if there's 20 pushes like DPW had proposed, would be $8,000. And also, as far as the sidewalk snow removal, that was included in the price. You've got 2 separate proposals here. So instead of paying $7,290, you're going to be paying something close to $14,000 for the 2 contracts. And keep in mind that for the sidewalk snow removal, my understanding is their contract only runs through February 4th. And then there's a reopener to look at the rest of the winter season. The village's proposal was for the entire season, so I just want to point that out to you.
Could you just restate that one more time, please?
Sure.
No,
In a nutshell, the village had proposed to do the clearing of all of the parking lots. Of course, at that time that we had proposed to do it, the lumberyard wasn't included. But all of your other parking lots, including the Slater Street parking lot, and all the sidewalks adjacent to the DDA-owned properties and your leased properties, the total price from DPW was $7,290. If you award these two contracts, it's going to be like $14,000. And for the sidewalk snow removal, that contract only runs to February 4th. And so you're probably looking at maybe $17,000, from what I understand from looking at the documents. And I just want to be clear, DPW is not unwilling to do this work. We had negotiated in good faith a contract. The DDA board and executive director chose to take this work out of the DPW contract, but I wanted to let you know what the price quote was
so
for this
what was
work.
the total from DPW?
$7,290.
And that included all parking lots, Slater, sidewalks adjacent, and what was the last one?
The sidewalks adjacent to the parking lots and DPW-owned properties, or I'm sorry, DDA-owned properties. So the sidewalk snow removal and the parking lots. So you're looking at DPW performing the work at $7,290. These two contracts.
Just a point of order. I'll keep saying it, it's all false, but that's okay. This must be from last year's contract negotiation. When even the number is it from? Like, I have zero knowledge of this.
This was from our contract negotiations.
From last year, when we ended up at 17 grand.
Yeah, we paid 17.
From May of 2025.
Yeah, I don't have any idea what it is. So,
My recollection was that, I'm sorry, just to jump in as well, my recollection also was 17,000, of which we were told that that was not, that was actually a number that was under what was actually the cost to DPW. So the 17,000 was even under what DPW should have charged.
Madam Chair, the $17,000 figure was a figure that Executive Director Gibb put into the budget and then offered to pay to the DPW based on that number that Mr. Gibb put into the budget. That was not a number that DPW came up with.
all right, so I love showing up at a meeting when there's modern technology. There's all kinds of technology. And ambush number 52, who cares what they said in May of 2025? I don't have any of that number. The village is known, we've had this dichotomy. Wes and I have discussed it multiple times. He knows what's going on. We confirmed which lots I had to do, which lots he had to do. He knew we were moving forward. And once again, I show up at a meeting where there's some type of I've got to cover myself mentality. This is not attacking the village, Darwin. This is just the reality of the DPW. When I say doesn't want to assume, they don't want to do it as part of their regular work. Last year, it cost us $17,000 to cover about a month and a half worth of snow. And yes, it included sidewalks and different things. This year, we went into a different path. We found localized people that could do these lots at no time was it ever saying, Matt, why are you doing that? We'll come in and help you. Let's re-up the number that we get. Zero. And even today, why would I I would never do that to you. Ms. Rudd, I'd never do that to your management. Ever do that. If I knew something that had an opportunity to be discussed, I would never show up at a public meeting, wait for an agenda item to be called, and then do this. So be that as it may, I've made a commitment to two contracts that total $11,700 to get us through into the month of March, at the beginning of March. Both of those contracts are on your record tonight. Hawkswell, who does a lot of stuff in this town, is willing to do it for a total of $5,700, and in March, $380 a push for events that happened after that. The kids at Mitten State are willing to do the same. So if we want to change gears, we can. I'll just tell them to not plow snow. Wes can do it. It's up to the board what they want to do. But I just want to make a point how unbelievably bad it is from a point of professionalism that it would be weighted and come to a meeting and like, oh, I got you. Oh, I got you. It's horrific. And it's just horrific. That angers me more than anything. We want to use the village, we'll use the village. Wes can plow the damn lots. What do I care?
If I could
It's
explain,
insulting to me as a professional that this continues after 2 years to happen.
if I could explain what happened, this item was just brought to me today. So, had I had time, I would have discussed it with Matt, but the point is clear, and that is the language that your executive director puts in his reports about the DPW being unwilling. Those are your words.
Yeah.
And that's what
He's going to do it for free?
And that's what I take exception to. The DPW is not unwilling to do this work. The DPW provided a proposal as part of our negotiations that was brought to you on May 20th of this year, saying what we would do and what we would charge to do it. Now, if I understand the director clearly, what he is, the way he has explained it is that his comment was that the village DPW won't accept responsibility at no cost to the DDA, and that is true. The DDA captures 80% of the village's tax base in the downtown area.
Could we stop as a point of order the continued
Can I
attacks and the
please-
negative comments about who we are? We don't capture 80% of the tax base of your organization, village manager.
You do. You do capture 80%.
I'm going to start making it up as we go along, too.
a lot bigger.
So the taxable value of the downtown district is $52 million. The village collects taxes on $10 million. I'm sure you can do the math yourself. So,
Yeah, I'm done.
May I ask a question?
I'm done with it.
Is Wes here?
yes.
Wes, were you asked to provide a quote for plowing snow?
I can clarify a couple things. We provided a quote for all services that we provide. We were told we were too expensive in May. The DDA chose to go with certain services in the amount of $27,000, $22,000, something like that. They chose not to take advantage of our snow plowing. The $17,000 that they're talking about was for the business sidewalks under last year. It was a completely separate contract. We never charged $17,000 to do the DDA's parking lots and sidewalks. It was the business owner sidewalks because the business owners didn't have adequate timing to get their own snow plowing in order.
So it was $17,000 to plow the sidewalks in front of the businesses?
Correct. That is what Mr. Gibb proposed. He said, we have $17,000. I propose we pay you that $17,000 to finish out the season, to do the business owner's private sidewalks, not the public sidewalks.
Thank you. Okay. So we have a motion?
Madam Chair, I withdraw the motion. It's not been properly bid or presented, and if it snows, it snows. I'm going to call a point of order on our procurement policy, say this is inappropriate. I'm going to contact both firms and discontinue snow service. We'll address it at our January meeting. That's it. Move on.
I think the most important thing is get the cheapest bid, right? I don't know how we can go from 17,000 to 7. I don't get the math. Maybe I'm just a chiropractor, but she says from 17,000 for sidewalks to $7,000 for all these lots. doesn't make sense to me. How did they get how much lower? I mean, $17,000 last year, now it's $7,000 this year? I don't get it. Where's the discrepancy? I don't know where the math comes from. I guess we need to have like why would it wait till the day of this meeting to get presented to us? That's what's weird. I mean, we've been dealing this for about a month. It's not been a 1 week, it's been a month process. We're looking for bids. Why wasn't this part of the discussion? I don't understand why it wasn't part of the discussion. I'm confused. But we want to, as a board member, it's my job to get the best bid, the best cheapest rate for our citizens. And I agree that we should probably read that. Hold on, but it's annoying that it happened this way.
I did just look up the May meeting minutes from May 17th, just to look at what the pricing was. And it was separated out into two pieces: snow removal for the upper municipal Whiskey's Lot DDA office, drive and sidewalk, sidewalk snow ice control, Slater Street lot and sidewalk, Fork and Pine, DDA parking lot 54 North. At 20 snow events per year was $8,381, and then there was a separate item there for snow hauling with sidewalks hauling away. That would be like the business, I'm assuming the business area, and that one was to the tune of $13,684. So the sidewalks were significantly more expensive because of seems to me because of the snow hauling and removal of it outside of the district. I'm assuming that's why that portion is so much more expensive. But the original part, or the other part for the sidewalks, or the parking lots and the sidewalks adjacent to that, according to the May 5th packet, was $8,381.25.
Is
I don't-
that what was proposed?
Yes.
Or approved or spent?
Proposed when we were looking at the breakdown of services for the
For
DPW
this
services for this year, for the 2025 to 2026. That is when we were looking at, the services that we were going to approve from the DPW, that was the breakdown between those two items. I don't think it included the alleyway or the lumber yard, but
And
for
those
the other
motions-
ones, $8,381.
And those motions failed.
We approved the services, the street light and outlet, garbage pickup, tree trimming services, downtown cleaning, as part of and special events that we wanted and mulching, we wanted DPW to perform as part of that package, but we did not choose to use them for the snow removal at that time.
Right.
So, but this year, I understand.
But that was
the
20.
Business owners are taking responsibility to move their own snow off their sidewalks. We're not paying for sidewalks.
Correct.
Businesses.
So we separated that out, because together it would have been, 21,000. But they was separated out as two different items. So the quote in May of 2025 was $8,381.
Is that the exact same, what about lumberyard lot?
It did not include the alley, to my knowledge, or the lumberyard lot or sidewalk.
So, but these do? What we have in front of us?
What we have in front of us are two separate contracts,
Right.
one for lot, one for our sidewalks, alley, lumberyard.
But it would include those two
Right.
as well? The
So that
alley
would have been
and the lumberyard.
the 57,000 plus
It's
6,000,
11,700.
yeah,
It's 11,700.
through February, with March being a question mark.
So that is to take into
about
consideration. So when there's a ton of snow, are we still paying DPW to remove snow from the streets that are, huh? But last year, we got charged $17,000 for snow removal and most of the cost we said was for removing snow from the streets by truck, right? Is that why the cost was so expensive?
Are you talking about clearing at the curbs?
Yeah, the curb, yeah, because the problem is the business owners can, they can shovel their own snow, but they gotta push them to the street. They can't be responsible, to put it in the
And
freaking truck. and
we
move it.
are still doing that work.
That's part of the DDA's, that's part of the
DPW.
DPW's
We
responsibility.
have taken on we were compensated for that in the past, but we have taken that on this year because we simply cannot have the downtown area looking bad.
Correct.
God.
I agree.
And so we have accepted, we've been doing that work. And we have to make sure that people can get out of their vehicles when they're parked
Last year
along
was
the
a
street.
problem. Last year they
So
couldn't.
if I can ask through the chair, so the dumpster in the lot behind Sick Pizza is not accessible because the way the snow is pushed up. So the garbage there has not been picked up for more than 2 weeks. The accessibility along the curb lines, there's been almost none of that done. Is there some timeline that we can expect? Is it 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks after a substantial snow? Which is it? We're paying, we'll figure it out. If I have to pay it out of my own pocket, I will. The Mitten company, these kids, that the plows from the DPW come along, they stack up the snow on all of the ADA accessibility crosswalks, and we're paying these kids to go chop it out and get rid of it. So I don't know who's doing it or when it's doing it, but this isn't the appropriate place or time, Madam Chair, to have some debate on who's good or who's bad. It should be all insulting to the committee that it would come to a meeting like this and, no, we do all this because we love our community, when it's clearly not the case. So the matter's been withdrawn by my office. It's what I put in for you. I pointed out to you a legal question that we presented this on a single source. It's violative of our procurement policy. It needs to be rebid. Therefore, there's no action to be taken. I've advised you of a legal matter. I would encourage you not to violate our purchasing policy.
Okay. Let's move on to item number C. Main Street. This was added to us at the beginning for the conference.
Motion to approve the travel and attendance of Matthew Gibb and Janet Bloom to the Main Street Now Conference in Tulsa, Oklahoma from April 16th through 20th, 2026, at a cost including any reimbursements not to exceed $4,000 with funding from 248-260-957-000.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Board Member Campbell,
Yes.
Board Member Coe,
Yes.
Board Member Medina,
Yes.
President Rutt,
Yes.
Treasurer Shell,
Yes.
Secretary Laurent,
Yes.
Vice Chair Caruso,
Yes.
and Chairperson Burgess.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 9, reports, resolutions, and recommendations. Executive Director's report.
Madam Chair, my report is principally in the file. I'd add to the report that before the end of the year, I'm running all the load calcs for the DTE pre-service planning to try to expedite the review of where we're going to put our service drops at the lumberyard project. Those algorithms are they're workable. So I'm running all the load calc sheets for the lumberyard project. At the last meeting, the board directed that prior to moving forward, any type of architectural or further engineering work as it applied to the potential private users that would generate revenue. I agree with the public comment that we need to be super focused on revenue at the lumberyard. I have talked of that ad nauseum. All of those contracts and pre-proposals are done. They are being submitted out to those particular users. We've engaged with DC Structures, of which this board authorized pre-engineering for 2 of the prefabricated structures. Those site design criteria have been reviewed by me. I'm doing all the water calculation for hydrant placement as a result of those, in the absence of having any support for that. Totally fine. We're taking the base engineering site plan. PEA is not able to break through the MDOT process yet because we're in holidays and it's the state of Michigan. Under my old friend Rick Snyder, we could have had this done by now, but we have a whole different game now that we play in the state of Michigan. So I'm running all of the engineer calc for grade level stormwater penetration so that we can do the analysis on storm penetration and redrawing all of the water service lines on the site. I anticipate to have that done hopefully by the end of the year, but probably by a week from Monday or so. that will be resubmitted through all the various processes to get done. In the meantime, I'll be getting our PA 57 report. I'm not going to wait for the audit. I'm going to submit the numbers that I get from Oakland County and equalization, and I'm going to not rely on anything that comes from audit or Village of Lake Orion for that purpose. So those numbers will be accurate to what our assessing structure is, and if they're wrong to the village, the auditor is going to have to deal with it. That report needs to get in by December 31st. That report will be in as well going forward. As to the concrete that we poured, we didn't make weather in there. I'm now going to cancel the contract. We were trying to extend that with JAH out of Waterford, good firm, but we're going to run through now into the spring. A question came up about whether it was a true apples to apples proposal acquisition. It was, but because we've got time now, we're going to redo that. And so those concrete engineering analysis are all going to be gone. We did get additional materials ordered. I'll have to go figure out how to pick that stuff up myself, as we don't have access to equipment or vehicles. So it's likely you'll see that I have to rent trailers to go do that, which is fine. I want to get that on site because we'll be working to cover the south wall of the lumberyard, presumably the first week of January. You'll recall we approved to pre-purchase the same identical material from a barn through our general contractor. It priced out a fraction of the cost of going to Michigan Reclaimed or any of those other places that have similar reclaimed wood. So we're going to do that hopefully before our next meeting. We've been meeting with the committees. Those that came, I'm appreciative of that. We're redefining the purpose of the committees. That would be adopting language that would focus those committees. I'll be working on populating and direct invitation for those. In the meantime, before the end of the year, I'm going to submit the complete accreditation package to Main Street for our accreditation. A reminder that that meeting is January 14th. We're going to set an agenda for that. We will try our best to get people to attend. I know many of you do. So we're going to get our accreditation application. It's fairly complex little portal that they make you go through. So all of that's going to be done by the end of the year and more. Our office will principally be closed on the 24th, 25th, and 26th, and the 31st, 1st, and 2nd. But I will be there on the 24th and the 31st, as well as the 26th and the 2nd. So if anybody needs anything from the DDA, I'll be there. I'll advise the boys, and we'll see how snow goes over the next month.
Motion to receive and file.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to Assistant Director's report.
See if we can get this up and going here.
Oh, sorry, Janet.
I'll go ahead and get started here. So again, recently we just wrapped up some great holiday events that we had. I'm just going to make this very brief as far as the report. So Sing and Stroll, again, appreciate the DDA board was out there. We got a photo. The event was wonderful to kick off the holiday season in downtown. Thank you to everybody who participated with that. We also had the Shop Small Saturday that we ran at the end of the month as well for November. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. We also had, as Matt mentioned, our Downtown Lowdown Holiday Gathering, which was well received, as well as the parade, pre-party for our volunteers. We just wrapped up the Polar Express, which we had, we sold out of the tickets really in about a week and a half. We had a waiting list going. Thank you to all the businesses that participated and supported. and the volunteers that came forward. In addition, I know Matt mentioned as far as the high schoolers, certainly want to recognize the 8th graders with the National Honor Society that steps forward and does a great job. They're all very engaging, and we'll be inviting them to the Volunteer Appreciation Party. They have really stepped forward for the last 2 events, Sing and Stroll and for Volunteer. For the Polar Express, we were able to fill all of our spots, so that was fantastic. Wanted to get into, as we mentioned, for the resolution run, we have gotten approval to be able to invite our businesses to add items to the runner's packet. So they have about 250 people, runners that participate in that event. Each runner gets a packet, and we've been given the green light to extend that out to our businesses as a way to, again, take part in these different activities that happen within our downtown. So that information will be going out this week to our businesses, and more details as to where to drop those items off. Again, 75% of them live close to Lake Orion, so we're excited to have those folks come in and maybe find a new favorite business and a great new restaurant that they haven't tried yet. For Ice Fest, again, that is coming up February 7th. I think you might have stated the 12th earlier. So February 7th, we are, for that event, like last year, we paired it together with the Sunrise Rotary Ice Cup Golf Challenge, if I have that correct. So for that event, we are using that as a launch-off point. So as you see what we have up here regarding sponsorships. So we had purchased the program of the seemylegacy.com, and that allows us, let's see if I can, here's a little different, Matt. Oh, a little too fast. All right. Hold on. There we go. So for the See My Legacy, it allows us to have a location. Not only can we list all of our sponsor products and the different things that we have, but then also list volunteer opportunities through, so it expands above and beyond our Sign Up Genius program. And it also allows us to have them pay on site. If you want to support something, we don't have to shuffle paperwork through or call me with your credit card. It takes the payment directly on this site. So that's a really great feature, easy for sponsors to use. And so we're excited about getting this launched. So the plan is with the Ice Fest. This will be our a great way to get that information out there. As you can see, when we first got it, I did add in some additional information. So just kind of going through, let's just pull this one up here. So with Ice Fest, you can go in and click on the campaign, and currently these are private. It says active in the corner up there, but not until we release it and open it up to the interwebs. So it talks about the campaign. So we're looking to run that campaign December 16th through the 15th of January. Again, it allows us time to get all creative done and out. And then we just explain as far as the event itself. So what we have talked about with the Ice Fest this year is to add more retail events with it, and also as far as the fest portion, looking to do a scavenger hunt with prizes. In addition, having our restaurants and bars be on tap with different themed drinks and featured eats. But then we're also getting pricing on kids' games and activities that are good for outdoors. So again, we'll have all that information this week and present that out to people who might be interested to support. So when you click on the different sponsorship opportunities, so on the pages you have your general information for your event, and then your sponsor options, it lists through as far as what is available. So kind of going, let's start at the bottom here. So ice sculpture sponsor. So it lists what that is, and you can participate now. And it gives you the listing of what your sponsor benefits are. Everything from you have a sign on the display stand to ice sculpture. You get to pick your own theme for that, being on the website, our social media, pre-event, during event, post-event postings. At different levels, we have different sponsorship options, obviously. And then if they want to participate now, they would just click this button, and it takes them to the sheet as far as where they fill out the information. Easy breezy, put all your information in, and asks you to put any photos in, any additional comments, and what's your payment method. Go back one. Let's see here. Here we go. Exit form. So continuing on with this, let's go back to that same event. So again, for each of these, we have a 5-block carving demonstration, or we're doing a 3-block. One thing that I love too is that we're encouraging people, if they like to just be a patron for an event. You want to donate $10, so you can't come in at a larger amount. This is great for friends, neighbors, and family to be able to participate towards an event of something that they would like to support. So that's also in there as well. We would recognize them on our website. They can stay anonymous as well too. Two ice block carvings, and then individual sculpture sponsors as well. So it's just a really brief run through. Once people do sign up, they'll start stacking in there as far as the sponsors that are participating. And we can change out this information. We're working on adding more photos. We're trying to curate some of our photos that make sense to add within this program. Again, like Here Lies Lake Orion, again, it's just listing. You can have it listing as far as if you want to do ticket sales on this as well. We have not approached that yet. We're currently running that through our Shop OC Main Streets program. And then when we're doing the outdoor movie night sponsors as well. So again, this will be our tool that we use, and we can send out board members. You can also send out to your contacts as well to encourage people if they would like to support an event. Any questions on the See My Legacy? That was kind of a brief overview on that. If you have questions, please do reach out. I'll be happy to run through that. The other thing that I want to add to this as well is I had created a paper document form for sponsorships, and with that it gives a lot more detail as far as who our demographics are, where we're bringing people in from, et cetera. And so we'll be working with See My Legacy to add more of that hard data in here into a location on our homepage, just so people can see not only just the events, but what type of community that we are, that other people can help support that maybe aren't in our backyard. One thing that I did want to bring up for this evening as well, and it's a recommendation that I'd like to make to the board. We have been working with the award-winning program that we had that came out of a tragedy as far as working with Oxford, DDA, and it's been a great program, but it's changed over the years. So in 2025, Oxford was starting to pull back on the Ice Fest, letterboxing, shopping passport that we ran in March and December. And, but they've also picked up additional things like running cornhole, which we have run here in our downtown. They've added that to their schedule. We've partnered together on doing the Dragon on the Boat for the DDA's boat for Dragon on the Lake. And we've had great success with Witches Night and Polar Express. But it has been discussed as far as for 2026 to pull out of Restaurant Week this February and March, and then also pulling out of the St. Patty's Day pregame. So that really starts reducing what this program looks like and how it was initially started. So again, my recommendation would be, let's keep what's working, what was successful, which was Witches Night, and then work with Promotions Committee as far as maybe looking at another event, whether it's currently on the calendar or something that we look new to add with Oxford DDA to keep the program going. I know it's a sensitive program, but I wanted to present this to the board tonight, whether you are okay with that recommendation, or if you want to then send that back to the executive committee for us to have a follow-up meeting.
I think when we discussed some today, that moving forward in '26, that we need to filter everything through what GAMSA requires.
Correct.
And so I'm a little hesitant to continue with the partnership because we're going in a different direction. And GAMSA has certain requirements, certain benchmarks that we have to meet. And so if you're doing this and you're doing that, I'm not sure that you have the capacity to focus on what we need to do for GAMSA when, you know, you've got so many different events going on. So I would really like us to take that into consideration for 2026, when all of the committees meet and we reassess what the purpose and the direction is going to be, that we need to really consider that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and to that point, right, so that conversation has been happening as far as finding that purpose for all of our events and looking at it through the lens of GAMSA, because that's what we want to get to. So just to reiterate that point, yes.
Yeah. So while all of these other things are great and they've been successful, we're just not looking for I'm not looking for just successful events.
Right.
There has to be purpose to them. They have to meet the criteria that's been laid out to be considered even a candidate for GAMSA. So I don't think you can really answer those questions that you're asking right now. Do we stay with it? Do we not stay with it? Because I think we have to have the criteria in front of us and then view that through the lens of this is what is required by GAMSA. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
It does make sense.
that get
How
clear
do you want that decision to be done? Through executive committee or through promotions committee?
I think it's gonna, until we get everything kind of like figured out,
Okay.
I don't think it's like promotions is gonna be making that decision. I think it's gonna be probably the executive committee.
Okay.
Not that we are the say-all, do-all, but it's
Right.
because we wanna have the criteria from GAMSA.
Got it. Got it.
Is that helpful?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So just a couple more points. So again, we did have our community calendar. That draft is going out this week to those 17 organizations that stepped forward for that. And then the stats are in here as far as our socials. We also went through that in the report. So Main Street accreditation, we are sending, again, as we mentioned, have the agenda, sending invites out. Same with the Volunteer Appreciation Awards. Those invites will be going out this week. And also for the Downtown Lowdown, Monday, January 26th. Again, those invites will be going out this week. So just double check your calendar invites and your emails and look forward to have you participate. Thank you.
Motion to receive and file.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 10, board comments and training feedback. Fine, we'll start with you this evening.
All right. Well, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, number one. Secondly, the parade was fantastic this year. I think it was the best one ever from, from what I was told. I was actually wearing a costume in it, so I saw the people and everything. It was just wonderful. But I'd also like to compliment the volunteers, that came in. George was, complimenting the businesses. I'd like to say the same thing back. It was great for you and your wife to come down and help out last minute. And the entire parade committee is just a great group of people that, really work hard to put the thing together. and especially my wife, because she puts about 15 hours a day in for an entire month, working on costumes and things like that. So anyways, it was a great parade, So that's really what I wanted to say.
I think this was the first year in like 10 or 12 years that I haven't been to the parade because my son had an indoor soccer match, his first indoor soccer match, and he asked me to be there. I was like, do you mind if no, I really want you there, Mom, and then you have to go.
Yeah.
But I've heard wonderful things about it for this year, so well done to the parade committee and, yeah, all the volunteers and businesses. I had something else, and I'm trying to think about what it was, but I can't remember, so I'll be done then.
That's why I write mine down, because I'll do the same thing.
I did not have a pen out today.
Yeah. I just wanted to say thank you to all of the other committee chairs today for coming to the meeting. Thank you to Matt and Janet for pulling that together. I feel really good as a committee chair with direction for 2026, and I'm excited about that. Thank you also for pulling together a wonderful viewing area for the parade for the illuminators, our new volunteer core group of residents and, people who love downtown. I know that we had a couple of families that came and brought extended family, and they were so excited to have a spot downtown to watch the parade. And I think that's a huge benefit that we can provide to our volunteers who are helping with our downtown, beautifying our downtown and with all kinds of things in downtown, as we can provide them with some of those little perks. They might not know where to go to watch the lighted Christmas parade. So for them to have a spot, I think was really special. And they took advantage of it, which was really nice. So I appreciate that. And I did just want to point out that I did look up last year's budget, the 24-25 budget, and we did pay, now I don't know what the breakdown was, but it does say for contract services for DPW snow removal, we did pay $17,000 for that in 24-25, and our budget year ends June 30th. Ended June 30th of 2025. So just want to clarify, we did pay that for snow removal last year. So
Yeah, for sure. Merry Christmas, everybody, and happy holidays for those who don't celebrate Christmas. But the parade was wonderful. It's always like the coldest day of the year. But this year wasn't as cold as last year, which is cool. But so I'm the smart one who always offers, hey, are you guys having fire pits this year? I'll man the fire pits. Because I'm not dumb enough to, I'm smart enough to know that, fire is warm, you stay by fire pits, you stay warm. So I always man the fire pits, so I'm grateful for that. But it was a great turnout. The parade was longer than ever. I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that. It was a good parade. It was fun. Everybody had a great time. Looking forward to this holiday season, having it in of course, now 2026. Our next meeting will be not till next year. So I guess I'll see you guys next year.
Yep, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. And as always, Matt and Janet, thank you for your hard work.
Again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody. And then I want to thank the board and Matt and Janet. I think that we've made a lot of progress this year. We're going in the right direction, and we are going to have an even better year next year. So thank you.
So I just don't understand what the point of not bringing up the snow removal cost before this meeting was. It was a waste of our time. It was a waste of, it did feel like it was a gotcha moment. If you thought that he was maybe going to propose money or an amount that somebody else externally was going to do that we would then approve, we wouldn't have approved it. We would have gone with the lowest bid. That's pretty much what we do, right? So if you had a lower amount, it would have been so much more productive to be able to put it on this agenda and so that we could approve it, right? And we would approve that easily. So please, 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 I know that Chris talked about it the last time I was here, start working together. Okay, that's it.
Just like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. I want to especially acknowledge the committee and the volunteers of the lighted parade. It was fabulous. And I don't know whoever was responsible for the drone, but there was some fabulous photos, absolutely fabulous photos. Whoever that person was, you're gifted. That's all I can say. Because it was like you were right there, riding on every float. It was so cool. Also, what a great job for the pre-parade party with the fire pits, with the s'mores, with the hot cocoa, with the cookies, and with the bathrooms.
They were popular.
I bet they were. I mean, that was amazing. And so, dear illuminators, just so you know, I'm going to give a little sneak peek. There's going to be all kinds of benefits coming up in 2026 if you are a volunteer in our community. So there may be parking, there may be potties, there may be porch parties. I'm just saying. And then the last thing that I want to say, I know it's Christmas, and I'm supposed to smile and end on a happy note, but we have to do better. We have to do better. We got to learn how to work together better. Our next regular meeting is January 20th, 2026. Could we have a motion for adjournment, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.